And although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much.
Everyone bows and curtsies to the king, and no one moves a limb, a muscle, when Camilla passes.
The ability to have somebody who is kind of epitomizes what you think your country stands for.
After years of a fragile, carefully curated truce, the illusion has finally shattered. The unthinkable has quietly become reality. Queen Camilla's removal from the very heart of Buckingham Palace is no longer a whispered rumor. It is happening. But this wasn't a sudden, loud explosion. It was a slow, calculated execution of power. It all traces back to a single, devastatingly precise comment made behind closed doors by Princess Anne. Anne didn't raise her voice. She didn't throw a public tantrum or directly express open hostility. She didn't have to. In the high-stakes chess match of the British monarchy, the most dangerous moves are always the quietest. But Anne isn't acting alone. If you look closely at the palace chessboard, there are growing, unmistakable signs that Princess Kate has stepped into alignment. Kate's subtle shifts in posture, her icy adherence to protocol, and her absolute silence speak volumes. A quiet but powerful confirmation that she shares the exact same stance as the Princess Royal. Together, the two most stable women in the firm have formed an unshakable front, further supporting a move that is rewriting royal history. So, how did a woman who spent 30 years fighting for the crown see her authority disintegrate in a matter of months? What psychological warfare are Princess Anne and Kate truly orchestrating behind those heavy gilded doors? The palace gates have closed, but today, we are pulling back the curtain on the shocking revelation and the intense, brewing tension that has ultimately sent Queen Camilla packing. To the outside world, the British monarchy operates like a flawlessly calibrated machine. Every public appearance, every wave from the balcony, and every carefully worded press release is engineered to project an image of absolute stability, ancient tradition, and unbreakable family loyalty. We are conditioned to look at the royal family through the romanticized lens of cinema, a world of pristine duty, where personal grievances are effortlessly sacrificed for the good of the crown. But behind the heavy, soundproofed doors of Buckingham Palace, far from the blinding flashes of the media landscape, an entirely different reality unfolds. Behind the velvet curtains lies a volatile hotbed of hidden tensions, deeply entrenched rivalries, and silent struggles for ultimate power. For the individuals born or married into this institution, life is a permanent psychological tightrope. They are forced to suppress their raw human feelings, burying their personal resentments beneath layers of historical protocol, all while knowing that the global media is watching their every move. Every single gesture, every fleeting expression, and even the smallest exchange of glances is relentlessly dissected by millions of onlookers seeking a single crack in the armor. And right now, those cracks have widened into an inescapable chasm. The underlying drama of the House of Windsor is nothing new. History shows us that very few royals possess a completely clean closet. For centuries, the monarchy has survived scandalous affairs, whispered betrayals, and deep-rooted internal feuds that have threatened to tear the institution apart from the inside out. We remember the chaotic history of King George IV and his secret, legally void marriage to the Catholic widow Maria Fitzherbert. We remember King Henry V, whose desperate, obsessive pursuit of a male heir drove him to initiate the English Reformation, breaking an entire nation away from the Catholic Church just to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. The crown has always been stained by conflict. Yet, the latest chapter currently unfolding within the palace walls is something no royal historian, courtier, or member of the public could have ever predicted. At the absolute epicenter of this modern controversy is a profound and impactful shift in power dynamics. A conflict so severe that it threatens to fundamentally reshape the royal family as we know it. The battle lines have been drawn, and for the first time in modern history, The senior princesses of the realm are at complete loggerheads with the queen consort, Camilla. To understand how this silent coup reached the point of no return, we must look directly at the woman driving the internal resistance, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal. Anne has long been regarded as one of the most peaceful, dedicated, and duty-conscious members of the royal family. She spends the vast majority of her life far away from the spotlight of cheap tabloid drama, quietly executing hundreds of royal engagements every year. Her no-nonsense attitude, fierce principles, and unshakable commitment to the crown have earned her an unparalleled level of respect from every single member of the family. She is the institutional anchor, but that exact same dedication to duty makes her an unyielding extremist when she perceives a threat to the monarchy's core values. And in the eyes of Princess Anne, the single greatest threat to the survival of the British monarchy is sitting on the throne next to her brother. Anne's deep-seated reservations about Queen Camilla are rooted in both historical trauma and acute structural concern. Anne has never minced her words behind palace doors. She holds a firm, unshakable belief that Camilla is fundamentally unfit to rule the British monarchy as queen. This fierce opposition stems from a dark history that the palace has spent decades trying to erase. The fact that Camilla and King Charles maintained a highly controversial, deeply destructive affair, while Lady Diana was still alive and trapped inside a miserable marriage. For Anne, the integrity of the crown relies entirely on its moral authority and its adherence to tradition. She views Camilla's long-standing influence over King Charles not as a romance, but as a dangerous vulnerability that compromises the king's judgment and insults the legacy of the monarchy. The boiling point of this decades-long tension finally spilled over into public view during the exclusive coronation dinner. Reports from within the palace walls describe a confrontation so heated, so sharp, that it left no doubt about the deep fault lines fracturing the family. During this explosive interaction, Princess Anne reportedly confronted Camilla directly, completely refusing to bow to the psychological hierarchy being imposed on the family. In a move that shocked onlookers, Anne went as far as to explicitly urge those around her not to refer to Camilla as queen. It was a direct, unapologetic challenge to Camilla's newly minted authority. The message was crystal clear. You may wear the crown, but you will never have our respect. This confrontation proved that Camilla's internal influence had suffered a catastrophic decline the moment Charles ascended the throne. The fragile peace that kept the family together during the final years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign was officially dead. While Princess Anne acts as the blunt, unyielding force of the resistance, another key player has entered the fray, operating with a far more subtle, diplomatic, and psychologically devastating strategy. Enter Catherine, Princess of Wales. Known across the globe for her calm demeanor, her impeccable elegance, and her flawless execution of royal protocol, Kate has historically been the most stable, controversy-free presence within the royal family. She is a woman who deeply understands the power of optics. She knows that in the royal system, a whisper can be louder than a shout, and a single omitted gesture can speak louder than an entire speech. For years, Kate maintained a polite, distant silence regarding the controversies surrounding her stepmother-in-law. But that silence did not signify approval. It signified a patient, watchful calculation. At the coronation, that calculation transformed into a historic act of silent defiance. To the untrained eye, the interaction was fleeting, easily overlooked amidst the grand spectacle of the day. But to students of royal tradition and the courtiers watching from the wings, it was a moment of pure sacrilege. According to intense media scrutiny and reports highlighted by Hello magazine, Princess Kate deliberately chose not to curtsy to Queen Camilla during the ceremony. To fully comprehend the gravity of this act, one must understand that within the royal hierarchy, bowing or curtsying is not merely a polite suggestion or a simple question of modern etiquette. it is a profound ritual. It is a mandatory duty designed to visually depict the rigid ranking system of the monarchy. By looking at how royals bow to one another, the world is supposed to know exactly who holds ultimate power. As the Queen Consort, Camilla technically ranks higher than Princess Kate, meaning protocol absolutely dictated that Kate bow deeply upon meeting her and upon her departure. Instead, Kate boldly looked the Queen Consort directly in the eye and gave a subtle, cold nod. This deliberate disregard for one of the most crucial traditions of the British monarchy sent shockwaves through the palace. Having been married to Prince William for over a decade, ascending to become the Duchess of Cambridge and eventually the Princess of Wales, Kate has spent her entire adult life mastering the intricate web of royal protocols. She knows every rule, every historical expectation, and every nuance of public presentation. This was not an oversight. This was a deliberate, public demonstration of personal reservation and systemic disapproval. Through that single, icy nod, Kate communicated a terrifying message to both the family and the public. She does not approve of Camilla's position as Queen Consort. This internal rebellion by the princesses inevitably forces both the royal family and the global public to confront the enduring ghost that still haunts the halls of Buckingham Palace, the legacy of Lady Diana. One cannot examine the current resentment aimed at Camilla without acknowledging that for a vast portion of the public, and indeed for many within the palace itself, Camilla's rise to power feels like a fundamental betrayal of Diana's memory. From time to time, the citizens of the United Kingdom and observers worldwide cannot help but ask the ultimate, painful question. What if it was Lady Diana standing there as Queen Consort? If Diana were alive, the entire narrative of the modern monarchy would be completely different. The deep-seated tensions that currently threaten to tear the family apart would likely not exist. The ongoing, bitter conflicts between the princes might have been avoided altogether. Prince Harry might have never felt the desperate need to abandon his royal duties, flee the country, and launch a scorched earth media campaign against the institution. The psychological scars that define the younger generation of royals would have had a chance to heal. Instead, the reality the family must navigate is deeply complicated. The exit of Harry and Meghan from their official duties has only intensified the public's absolute obsession with the royal family's internal fractures. Their highly critical, explosive interviews have continually poured fuel on an already raging fire, making it entirely impossible for King Charles to maintain the polished, united front the monarchy so desperately needs to survive in the 21st century. And this is where Princess Kate's actions become even more complex. As the wife of Prince William, Kate is not just a princess, she is the future Queen Consort. She is posing as the ultimate exemplary figure for everyone who will follow her in the line of succession. Because of this, critics argue that she is supposed to make personal sacrifices, put her raw feelings aside, and uphold absolute law and order within Buckingham Palace, regardless of her personal disdain for Camilla. But there is an alternative, fascinating theory gaining traction among royal observers. Is it possible that Kate's refusal to curtsy wasn't just a sign of hatred toward Camilla, but part of a much larger, calculated effort to modernize the image of the British monarchy? Under the leadership of King Charles III, the royal system is currently undergoing an intense metamorphosis. The explicit goal is to ensure that an ancient, centuries-old institution somehow falls in line with the realities, values, and sensibilities of the 21st century. To achieve this transition without collapsing, the royal family must carefully drop a couple of rigid, outdated laws and ideologies, adopting newer, more relatable practices that ease into modern life. For a portion of the modern public, seeing a royal like Princess Kate stand out and quietly defy a rigid, centuries-old protocol is incredibly refreshing. To them, this quiet rebellion shows that the royals are not just lifeless, brainwashed puppet heads fed on ancient traditions. It shows they are real individuals with independent thoughts, capable of making personal choices. But for the traditionalists, the fierce, unyielding believers in the royal system, this deviation is terrifying. To them, gestures like the curtsy are not empty etiquette. They are the very scaffolding that holds the monarchy together. They believe that no royal, no matter how popular, should ever fancy themselves above the traditions that have preserved the crown for a lifetime. To fully understand why this toxic cocktail of resentment, tradition, and psychological warfare has finally boiled over, we must look directly at the long, agonizing history of the woman at the center of the storm. Camilla, Queen Consort of the United Kingdom. For the vast majority of her life, Camilla has been a figure completely surrounded by intense controversy, fierce public hatred, and relentless media scrutiny. Her entire legacy is inextricably linked to her relationship with King Charles, and the catastrophic impact that relationship had on his first marriage to the beloved Princess Diana. The historical details are etched into the public consciousness. The affair between Charles and Camilla began long before he ever married Diana in 1981. And despite the grand fairy tale presentation of that royal wedding, the illicit relationship never truly stopped. It was a constant, corrosive presence that placed an unbearable strain on the royal marriage. The psychological damage was laid bare when Diana herself famously and heartbreakingly referred to Camilla as the third person in her marriage, forever branding Camilla in the eyes of the public as the calculating villain who broke the nation's heart. The damage to Camilla's reputation reached a catastrophic nadir in 1994, when Charles sat down for a televised interview with Jonathan Dimbleby and publicly admitted to his infidelity. It was an absolute bombshell that permanently tarnished their public standing. When the royal divorce was finalized in 1996, the public's hatred toward Camilla was absolute. She was widely viewed as an outcast, an unwanted intruder who had destroyed a family. And when Princess Diana tragically died in that Paris tunnel in 1997, the public's grief transformed into an ironclad hostility toward Camilla. For years, she was entirely hidden from public view, rarely daring to step outside into the blinding light of a country that deeply mourned its lost princess. It wasn't until their quiet marriage in 2005 that the royal family began a multi-decade, highly calculated public relations campaign to officially recognize Camilla's role. But even then, the palace knew the public was not ready to accept her. In an unprecedented move designed to pacify a skeptical nation, it was announced that she would take the title of Princess Consort rather than Queen Consort when Charles ascended the throne. It was a compromise born out of survival. Yet, when Queen Elizabeth II passed away and Charles finally took the throne, he unilaterally altered the plan, officially announcing her as Queen Consort. For millions of Diana's loyal supporters, this final title change felt like an ultimate betrayal of Diana's legacy, an attempt to sweep decades of painful history completely under the rug. Despite this heavy shadow, Camilla spent 20 years trying to forge her own path through relentless public duty. She dedicated herself to critical, often overlooked causes, building an undeniable reputation as a champion for literacy programs, animal welfare, and most notably, providing vital support for victims of horrific domestic violence. Through sheer perseverance and quiet dedication, she slowly began to soften public opinion, earning respect for her hard work and her steady support of the king. But within the palace walls, a different story was playing out. While the public's view of her had softened, the royal family's internal resentment had only hardened. Her charitable efforts and media portrayals, such as her controversial, manipulative depiction in global television hits like The Crown, have kept her past permanently alive in the minds of the younger generation of royals. What we are witnessing today within the House of Windsor is far deeper, far more complex, and far more dangerous than a simple family disagreement or a petty question of royal etiquette. It is a profound, high-stakes psychological war for the very soul, direction, and future identity of the British monarchy. Queen Camilla's life has been an extraordinary saga of controversy, survival, redemption, and absolute perseverance. She has fought an uphill battle for decades to shed her scandalous past, navigate an incredibly hostile public landscape, and secure her place at the right hand of the king. But as the older generation passes, and the younger, fierce generation of royals begins to rise to ultimate power, the internal foundations of her authority are completely crumbling away. With Princess Anne leading a fierce internal resistance to protect the absolute purity of royal tradition, and Princess Kate executing a flawless, silent demonstration of structural disapproval, the palace doors are rapidly closing on the Queen Consort. The careful, polished illusion of an outwardly united front has been shattered for good, revealing a monarchy completely divided against itself. The chess pieces have been moved, the ultimatums have been delivered behind closed doors, and the ultimate future of the crown hangs in a terrifyingly fragile balance. Now, the question turns to you. Do you believe that Princess Anne and Princess Kate have completely justifiable, honorable grounds to stand against Queen Camilla? Or do you think that after decades of flawless public service and dedication to her charitable duties, Camilla has rightfully earned her place on the throne next to King Charles, and deserves the absolute respect of her family? Is this a necessary modern cleansing of the royal house, or is it a bitter, vindictive betrayal of a woman who has given everything for the man she loves? Let us know your exact thoughts, your theories, and your deep breakdowns in the comment section below. If you found this deep psychological analysis of the royal family absolutely gripping, make sure to smash that like button, share this video with fellow royal watchers, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another exclusive, behind-the-scenes breakdown of the world's most powerful dynasties. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.